Mr. Golub, coming to you, what kind of a security ring is around a former U.S. president in such rallies, as we see that the Secret Service did jump right in the nick of the time after Trump's left ear started bleeding?
Oh, there's intense security, and as you just said, you saw it jump into action there. I saw a clip of the attack. There were half a dozen apparently Secret Service agents right on top of Trump within a second or two of the shots being fired. I saw one or two other heavily armed personnel in military garb, whatever their origins were, jump into action. So there's very, very intense security for a president, a former president, a major presidential candidate.
Right. Just for the viewers who are tuning into WION World is One, the local district attorney has said that the Trump shooter was outside the rally venue. And it again comes back to the same question regarding security apparatus of a former U.S. president. Susan, coming to you, just give us a rundown of where exactly is Trump right now.
We're told by Secret Service that he's being treated and tested. We don't know, of course, his exact location, but we do know that Donald Trump Jr. spoke with him on the phone, and he said that his father is in good spirit. Now, while we are expected to hear from the White House, President Biden in particular, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear from President Trump as well in the coming hours.
Right. Mr. Golub, like we were talking with Susan as well, that the attack comes just a day before the convention at Milwaukee. I want to seek your assessment. What kind of an impact will it have on that?
Oh, it will gear up a tremendous amount of, well, to be frank, enthusiasm for him. He now assumes somewhat heroic proportions by virtue of surviving this attack. He was winged slightly, apparently, and nicked his ear. There is that photo that I'm sure is going all across the internet now of his holding up his fist, pumping his fist while there's blood streaming down his face. This was going to be a raucous, enthusiastic celebration of his candidacy to begin with, even before this horrible event today. But the ramifications of this are that it will be even more so. One of the initial reports I saw said that one of supporters said that now Trump is a martyr. I don't know if that's quite an accurate word, but that kind of heroic vision of him now will be even stronger in the wake of this horrible incident.
Well, for all those tuning into WION World is One, there's initial information on how the Trump shooter was outside the rally venue when the attack took place. And there were loud bangs that were heard at the rally. The Secret Service agents then covered the former U.S. president. According to the Secret Service agents, Trump is fine and is in a local medical facility right now. Also, let me quote some reactions coming in. U.S. President Joe Biden has said that there's no place for this kind of violence after Trump's shooting. Meanwhile, Elon Musk has said that he fully endorses President Trump and he hopes for his rapid recovery. This is WION's continuous coverage on the assassination attempt on former U.S. President Donald Trump. Right, coming to you, Mr. Golub, just continuing with that discussion there, talk to us more about how this attack matters politically, considering that it has taken place just few months before the U.S. presidential polls. And according to reports, when Trump started speaking on immigration, just 5 minutes into his speech is when the attack took place.
Well, it could. I'm just speculating now. It's barely an hour or two since this event took place, but I would think in a number of ways it will at least potentially help Mr. Trump. One, it creates great sympathy for him. Two, as I mentioned, at least temporarily, Biden is taking anti-Trump ads off the air. Maybe political action committees affiliated or sympathetic to Biden are doing the same. Going forward, Mr. Trump could depict himself as a heroic figure for having survived this attack. And I'm speculating even more now, but there's a possibility that Mr. Biden may benefit politically in that there's, as you know, a big argument going on within the Democratic Party. Should he step aside in the wake of his debate debacle on June 27th? Well, now the argument for his staying in, that may be even stronger, the argument being you don't switch horses in midstream. And then the point where things are so turbulent in the country, there could be voices in the Democratic Party saying we don't switch away from Biden as our candidate when things are so very much up in the air. There's one other note I want to make. It's an unfortunate and unfortunately a negative one, but there's already been the threat of violence in the air. The Washington Post site, at the very day that this occurs, had an article about radical Christian or white Christian nationalists who support Trump being sympathetic to the notion of political violence as a way of getting their way. This may feed into that. You know, part of Mr. Trump's narrative has been that the government is against him. The deep state, so-called deep state, is against him. I'm not saying that that narrative necessarily extends to his feeling that he was going to be attacked in a manner such as this, but this event could feed into that somewhat paranoid narrative.